All right, Sistas fans. Now, I already talked about this in a video going over 6 new characters in season 6. And look, over the past 12 hours, I got information on like a dozen other characters. So there's a lot to cover. But I'm trying to separate these into separate videos because if not, there will be like a 30-minute block of just dissecting one character after another. But let's just focus on the new character, Penelope. Female, mixed ethnicity, early 30s, friendly, humble, and very pregnant. She is Jordan's little sister who arrives and introduces herself as Gary's fiance, which comes as a shock to the others. She gets along great with the girls, but they're hesitant to tell her the truth that would crush her. Gary has been two-timing her for months. And somebody pointed out, Jeremy Jordan is the guy that's going out on a blind date with Andy. And here's the thing, though. I did that video like in October, so I needed to go back to find the character descriptions. But yeah, Jordan is the guy that Andy's out on a date with. Male, former football player. He is fine. Is both fine and cute as hell. He's on a blind date with Andy, and he's a little shocked when she shows up looking exactly like her profile picture. He's been burned on blind dates before, inclined to babble a bit too much. He's agreeable when Andy refuses a drink and gives no clue that he's brought 2 wingmen to keep an eye on things, just as Andy does with Danny and Sabrina for the same reason. So I don't know if Penelope and Andy, meet multiple times, if Penelope is like a recurring character, but then again, in the character descriptions, that should tell me. So let me see if I can find that real quick, because it will actually tell us a lot about what to expect of these characters in the upcoming season. But the fact that he has a whole fiance who's pregnant, the timeline, look, we know the timeline of this show makes no sense, but given that Karen is about 4 weeks pregnant, we can estimate that the show has taken place over the course of less than 2 months. That's me being generous now, and I'm just throwing that out there. So the course of Sisters has been, over 2 months. Not 2 months exactly, but between Karen's pregnancy, if you combined, assuming she got pregnant by Aaron at the beginning of season 3 or somewhere in season 2, yeah, let's just say less than 2 months. Penelope is very pregnant, meaning that she's currently showing. So let's just estimate she's around 4 to 6 months pregnant. That would mean Penelope existed in Gary's life while he was having his affair with Andy while he was still married to Jasmine. Gary and Andy, what was it, in episode 1 on Andy's birthday, they were celebrating their 6-month quote-unquote anniversary affair. And yeah, so Andy was messing around with a married man who was messing around with other women, had one of them pregnant, and a whole fiance. Now, we don't know exactly when these two got engaged. Was it while he was still married to Jasmine? Was it, let's say, after Andy said she didn't want to marry him at that time in season 3 during the surprise wedding? I don't know. But Gary has been two-timing her for months. No, Gary has been quadruple timing it, I guess, because, for all we know, what was it, that other girl, that one that was in the threesome with Andy? She was in a picture with Gary, so in bed, so they've done it. So yeah, Gary gets around. Maybe we're following the lore from season 1. Remember when Leslie had that file folder full of photos of Gary with other women, not just Andy, and not just Jasmine's sister either? Because remember when Danny saw Gary at the airport with another woman, and then I think that same woman was in a photo from Leslie's catalog, if you will. Gary said, "That's Jasmine's sister." But there were other women that were like, yeah, there's some white women in there too. Gary getting around. But no, that kind of got dropped after season 1, where it's like, it's just Andy. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense at all. But yeah, folks, Penelope is a pregnant fiance of Gary. What does this mean? Well, nothing that we didn't already know. And like I said before, we know a character named Jennifer is showing up later on in this season to possibly reveal Aaron as a, two-timer as well. But yeah, Penelope being the sister of Andy's date or blind date definitely, is a lot of red flags. Also, keep in mind, Jordan is or was a athlete, which is similar to Gary's backstory in season 1, where he was a professional athlete before going into stockbroking. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, Gary has been messing around since before he got a divorce, and as well as when he and Andy were still a thing, and prior to and in season 1. So what do you think is going to happen? Will the girls reveal the truth about who Gary really is, and the fact that one of the women she's breaking bread with at the table actually was his mistress for quite a while? I mean, how is Penelope living? Is she living in a penthouse too? I doubt that. Just saying. But it seems like Penelope could be in the situation Andy found herself in. Andy would have found herself in if she didn't walk away from Gary back at the beginning of season 2. But then they get back together anyway. Penelope could be Andy if she didn't stand her ground. Like, I'm not going to get married and throw away my career for you and just be like a stay-at-home mom. I think Penelope is kind of like a look into the future of what Andy and Gary could have been had she not stuck to her morals and is like, I'm not giving up my career. So with that being said, let's see how things unfold. I'm actually looking forward to this particular plot point in season 6. But yeah, let's talk about it in the comments section. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.